Welcome to Captured in His Presence, Episode 7. Today, we're stepping into the account of Matthew chapter 2, a chapter that challenges us to examine our response to God's direction. From the wise men's faith to Herod's fear, we'll explore how God leads us in unexpected ways. How do we respond when God calls us to follow, even when we don't know where the journey will lead? Let's dive into following God's lead. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. In Matthew chapter 2, we meet the wise men who embarked on a long journey, following a star to find the newborn king. They didn't have all the details, they didn't know the exact location, but they knew enough to trust God's guidance. Their willingness to follow, despite the uncertainty, led them to a divine encounter with Jesus. They brought their best gifts to honor the king, and they left a different way, changed by the encounter. Then, there's Herod. He saw the birth of Jesus as a threat, not a blessing. His heart was hardened by pride, fear, and the desire to protect his power. Instead of seeking the truth, he tried to control the situation and destroy what God was doing. The contrast is clear. The wise men were willing to follow wherever God led, even in uncertainty. Herod, on the other hand, resisted because he wasn't willing to surrender control. It's a powerful reminder for us. How often do we hold on too tightly to our plans and our sense of control? Are we willing to follow God's lead, even when it leads us into unknown or uncomfortable places? In our lives, God still calls us to follow him, sometimes without knowing exactly where the path leads. But just like the wise men, we are invited to respond in faith, bringing our best to God, and allowing him to guide us to what he has prepared for us. As we close this episode, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Are you willing to follow God, even when the path is uncertain? What might God be calling you to surrender today? Remember, just as the wise men were transformed by their encounter with Jesus, following God's lead always leads to transformation. Thanks for joining us today on Captured in His Presence. Keep seeking, keep following, and keep being transformed by His presence.